Welcome to this session. Environmental scanning. This scanning should be both of the internal and external environments. And what should this scanning help you? It should help you in coming out with a marketing intelligence system, and it should help you in building a technology roadmap. So, this is what is required for the company. So, should help in building a technology roadmap. That is, Indian firms in the ongoing process of globalization should learn to listen not only to their current customers, but also look at new customers. Firms to always escape from technological discontinuity. So, this type of technological obsolescence, as we put it, this can be very disastrous. So, for a company, it should always try how long can technology be sustained without really getting out of the marketplace. So, in other words, the companies should avoid getting into this technology discontinuity trap. So, this happened for a well known PSU like the ITI, when its trouser and crossbar technology became obsolete. To get this technology from outside the country, the company had paid a huge royalty. Now, all of a sudden in the 80s, they find that this technology is becoming obsolete, and in comes this chip technology, that is the electronic technology. So, the mechanical telephones had to be phased out because the market was unfortunately after 84 ITI, unfortunately for ITI, maybe fortunately for the consumer, ITI was open to competition by the then government. To its chagrin, ITI found that it was the electronic products which were becoming the more in thing. So, instead of the nearly 5 to 10 kgs of telephone, mechanical telephones, you used to find that the market was looking at slimline telephones, very less in weight, having all types of push button functions instead of this what do you call dialing, mechanical dialing. So, this push button functions, that is a keypads on the phone and more attributes than the usual mechanical dialing telephones, all this made a huge difference. So, the company had to come out of its core competence, that is the trouser and crossbar, into this new field, okay, and prove itself in the marketplace. This is so the company has to get out of this type of technological traps which can come in. So, this is all this requires the company to have a strategy formulation. So, when you are looking at this strategy formulation, it should decide whether it will go in for product or process R&D. Then the source technology, and whether it has the technological competence to make use of the sourced technology and product portfolio. So, if you look at ITI itself, it was sourcing its technology from a well known supplier, Alcatel. To its chagrin in the 90s, it found that Alcatel was providing ITI with technologies which were becoming obsolete in the West very fast. That type of technology was being palmed off to ITI, and it was costing the nation a huge money, that is a royalty which was going out to Alcatel. So, if you recall, so one of the organizations which came into being in the 80s was this CDOT. CDOT was formed on the mission mode to come out with a telephone exchange operable in Indian conditions, that is you could operate them in Indian conditions in 36 months at a cost of 36 crores, 18 crores from the Department of Electronics, 18 crores from the Department of Telecommunications. That was the type of budget which was given to this particular organization, and CDOT achieved this before this 36 months, and it constructed this telephone exchange in a very hot place like Kittur in Karnataka, where the temperature ranges at 42 degrees, and this telephone exchange operated very well and continues also to operate well, the technology side of it even to this day. So, when they were taking the quotes from Alcatel, how much this type of exchange is likely to cost if it is to be outsourced to Alcatel or taken from Alcatel. It used to cost at that point of time 400 crores, that was a quote given by Alcatel. So, this is what you should do. The important point is, many times you outsource technology, but many times you do not know how to make use of this technology. Instead, if you generate your own, if you come out with your own technology, all these types of problems will be not existing. This is your own technology, you have only developed the technology, you can operate it much better. This is a type of scenario. Whether it has the third point will become redundant, that is whether it has the technological competence to make use of source technology and product portfolio. If you are able to do it yourself, that is the reason why the present day government always trying to impress, make in India, make in India. So, this is the present day this thing. If you are looking at corporate entrepreneurship, also known as corporate intrapreneurship, some definitions are there. It is available to you in the government in the book also. So, this book where it is available in chapter number 16. So, the management of technology, and then this environmental scanning, and then with respect to this strategy formulation. So, the one thing which you should look at, there is a figure which is given on page number 234 of the book with respect to strategy formulation, and this figure comes out in a nutshell the product and process R&D with reference to the innovation life cycle. I am reading from the book. As shown in the figure, the proportion of the process and product R&D varies as the product moves along its life cycle. Kindly note that. So, there is a product life cycle, there is a process life cycle coming into the picture. Product innovations are most important in the introductory stages, but later on process innovations such as product quality manufacturing facilities become important. So, in the initial stages product innovation, that is come out with a new product, but the later stages the process innovations. Indian firms have to draw meaningful lessons from this. Now, on this corporate entrepreneurship, some definitions are given. This definition by Guth and Ginsberg, that is the birth of new business within existing organizations, that is internal innovation or venturing, and the transformation of organizations through renewal of the key ideas on which they are built, that is strategic renewal. So, these people are talking not just of the current organizations going through a different market resistance, that is to resistance with the changes which the market is asking them to come out with. So, all this is they are saying it is called, it will be called as according to them strategic renewal to be current in the marketplace. Three measures of R&D success are improving technology transfer from research to business units, accelerating time to market for new products or processes, then institutionalizing cross-functional participation in R&D. So, these are quite important, that is three measures of R&D success. Improving technology transfer from research to business units, accelerating time to market for new products or processes, then institutionalizing cross-functional participation in R&D. So, in other words, new product development, this is called there is most of these manufacturing organizations, even software development organizations, they develop what is called the house of quality matrix, HOQ 1, 2, 3 going up to 4, HOQ 1, HOQ 2, HOQ 3, HOQ 4, and then they say yes, it is okay. Now, they do so many beta testing on this, and then they say yes, it is working properly. So, earlier we did not have, when you did not have this personal computers or this desktop computers had not yet come into the foray. Most of the times we used to make use of this what do you call big machines at that point of time, whether it was the IBM or there was one ICL which was operating from Madura Coats company, where you had so you had to book the CPU to run your programs, and these programs had to be written on these cards, and these cards had to be read, and after these cards were read, and if the program was written properly, the computer would ask, shall I run? And then you say run, and then the program will get run, and you had a big print out sheets which were coming. So, sometimes they use it now also for many times for your large jobs in the present day context. So, now if you look at it, almost everything you are able to, many of the things which you thought you were not able to earlier do, you are able to do from your desktop PCs only, and most of the times from your laptops only. So, this is a present day context in which corporate entrepreneurship is working, and it brings you to this exhibit on best practices for R&D improvement, that is given on page number 235 in the book. So, this is it says that what are the it lists down what are the best practices that an organization can follow. Some of this I will just read a few of them. 1. Corporate and business unit strategies are well defined and clearly communicated. Kindly note this term communicated. So, this is many times this is the problem, okay. This lack of communication or distorted communication or interpreted in a different way, all this causes severe problems in the market. So, nowadays you find lot of galata going on with respect to that is in the political arena. This is called political marketing. Party A does something, party B, in order to gain some space in the market which you think that it is losing, okay. Oh, this is a useless party and it has cheated the country for such a long time, suppose. But that party is saying no, that is not the case, this is being misinterpreted, that is it is wanting to gain the market space. So, in the political warfare that goes on also, the parties want to stay relevant. So, in the present day context, in the Indian scenario, this is becoming quite crucial. Many of the political parties, there is a feeling with them that they may become irrelevant soon, that type of scenario. So, this is even in the companies also, unless and until your strategies are clearly defined and correctly communicated, then you will have a problem with respect to your business units. If you are communicating it properly and defining it properly, there will be no problem with respect to business units or your strategic business units. That is the one which is going to help stay in the marketplace, okay. That is point number 1, and a few more points are also mentioned. Analytical tools, point number 8, analytical tools are used for selecting projects and for evaluating ongoing projects. So, there is no point in what do you call giving subjective performance measures. These subjective performance measures can always be a drag on the company. So, the measures of performance should always be objective. You should be able to assess the performance of an individual or a portfolio or a business unit or a strategic business unit objectively. Yes, it has performed, it has resulted in this type of profits coming to the company and it has given this type of positive directions, all these are required. So, if you really look at it, this is point number 8 from the book. Look at the point number 8, transfer of technology in business unit is the most important measure on R&D performance. So, transfer of technology. Many times when right from the time the country became independence, this company ITA was sourcing technology, and for this source technology they used to have a company to evaluate this technology transfer taking place from this foreign company to ITI. So, it was telling ITI, okay, this is the method by which you can get this technology from this particular company. So, this in spite of all this, what many times planners got into the trap was this technological discontinuity. This is what I mentioned about this well known organization. So, if you look at a few of the other things which are mentioned here in the book, it talks about small businesses and entrepreneurial ventures on page number 236. This page number 236, if you see, SMEs in India have to develop entrepreneurial characteristics in order to survive in the changing market scenario. 4 such important characteristics which are key to the success of the firm are ability to identify potential markets better, a sense of urgency making them action oriented, knowledge of key to success in the industry, supplementing through outside help, skills, knowledge and ability. I have also given some guidelines for new venture success by these 2 authors. Many times in the present day setup, many organizations say they are a non-profit organizations. What are these non-profit organizations? They represent the not for profit sector firms of the economy. So, they are working not for making profit, but for public or collective good. So, examples are given like police, philanthropic organizations, community service organizations, etc. So, many times these NPOs are created in India. There are so many not only NPOs, now there are so many NGOs which are created in this not for profit organization. So, some of them are under the government scanner also for activities not in consonance with their stated objectives. So, some of these activities were with respect to some, according to what press reports were coming, some of these NGOs were indulging in conversions also according to some of the press reports. So, these were not the stated objectives of these NGOs. So, some sort of hidden objectives which they were adopting, which brought them into the governmental scanner. So, the important factors for this NPO choice are given on page number 237, that is responsiveness, credibility, capability, confidence, communication, channel references, tangibility and top management. So, all this brings you to looking at an organization like an NPO from the lens of philanthropy, that is corporate philanthropy. So, one of the conceptual models of this corporate philanthropy is presented here with respect to this slide, It can be agency specific. This slide, if you just highlight this, see this slide, it is agency specific one block, donor specific next block, then the corporate philanthropy outcomes in the third block. So, agency specific can be awareness, efficiency, specialization, credibility, message info, message persuasion and the staff. Donor specific can be with respect to CEO, resource perception, monetary, resource perception, non-monetary, financial benefits, other benefits and willingness. So, the CP outcomes could be with respect to policy, programs, amount, in kind, then the CRM, etc. The external factors could be with respect to cause, social comparison. So, the CP outcomes can be with respect to leading you to beneficiary, NFIBO and the choice parameters which I listed down are given here, that is the credibility, CEO, capability, experience, channel, tangibility, reliability, responsiveness, sensitivity and communication. So, this is actually when you look at it, a conceptual model can be developed as a theoretical model. This is a theoretical model given in the book. This theoretical model given in the book, we are looking at agency, awareness, organizational, CP, external, then the parameters of NFIBO choice. So, numbers are given there going from 1 to 11 in the whole this thing. So, these numbers denote factor rankings. So, image of the organ. So, one of the organizations in Bangalore, there is one NGO, or they call it an NGO, and by name Bridge School. What is this Bridge School doing? This Bridge School picks up these children who are from disadvantaged sections, say they are maybe laborers or workers, say from the construction field, they are not exposed to what do you call study in that sense. So, this Bridge School helps them to give some insight into formal education, say bring them, teach them, make them go up from 1 to 8th standard, all those types of things, educate them about skills, and they become better citizens instead of. So, now in the present day setup, it is required that you become better citizens right from your childhood. So, if you are told to love your country right from the young age, you will do that. That is, a child will develop that mentality. And if you are given instructions on how to be a useful citizen from an young age, that is advantageous for the child, though he may be from the so called disadvantaged sections of the economy, like the laborers. So, construction workers in especially, they are moving from place to place. So, many times in Bangalore itself you take, so many flats are being constructed, so many houses are being constructed. Each when they are being constructed, there will be some workers, families which are stationed there till the construction is completed. So, these bridge schools are, at least the bridge schools, they say that they are in the process of educating these children from these sections of the society. So, this taking all these factors into account, what has been created is a theoretical model for corporate philanthropy. So, this theoretical model for corporate philanthropy in the present day context can be a good viable choice. So, many sections of the economy are progressing very fast, some sections of the economy are not progressing that fast. So, these disadvantaged sectors of this economy also to be addressed. Now, if you look at what is going to happen in the present day setup, this this not for profit organizations, if you really look at, they are in a way creating a sort of a bridge between the profit organizations and the not for profit organization. It is an NGO type of bridge which is coming in, these non-profit organizations, many of them coming out with all these types of choices which I listed. So, page number 239 of the book lists you in some at 16.9 what is the scenario for the country, that is how do you visualize the scenario for the country. It says that the ongoing process of liberalization is essential for, makes it essential for Indian companies to innovate and become market leaders. So, there is no point in saying I am not going to innovate. No, innovation has to be a continuous process. So, some decades back you were not looking at ergonomics in the way you should have looked at. So, the position of your, say a simple this thing, how do you sit so that you do not get back pain, sit for long hours, what should be the chair design and what should be the height from the ground where your legs will not get cramps even if you sit for a long time. So, these are some of the problems which many of our IT professionals are facing now, because they are used to sitting in one place for long number of hours. So, when they get up, they are really a mentally tired lot. In addition to that mental tiredness, suppose they find that they are getting cramps, they are getting back pain, all those types of things, that makes it even more difficult. So, this is so the company should look at the safety aspects and hygienic aspects, in addition to creating an environment of innovation for the professionals in the company. So, create that environment of innovation. Suppose you create some what do you call activities which can bring out this employee or the manager from his desktop to some other this thing, maybe playing a game, maybe all these types of things are common in IT companies. They play some indoor games, they play outdoor games, then they get back to their working this thing, that makes them become fresh. So, when the ideas are fresh only, you are giving impetus to innovation in an organization. So, and that is required in the present day setup. SMEs in the Indian context will have to become entrepreneurial. This can be the key for successful functioning in a free market economy. So, SMEs are some things which are playing a crucial role in the economy. So, what are these SMEs listed here? That definition I am told has undergone some changes also. Now, this one, SMEs employ less than 200 people with annual turnover of 5 crores. So, it has now I am told gone up beyond this figure. They have to develop entrepreneurial characteristics in order to survive in the changing market scenario. Some 4 important characteristics are given here: ability to identify potential opportunities better, a sense of urgency making them action oriented, knowledge of key to success in the industry, supplementing through outside help skills, knowledge and ability. So, these 4 factors or characteristics, they are key to the success of the firm, key success factors, that is ability to identify potential opportunities better, sense of urgency making them action oriented, knowledge of key to success in the industry, supplementing through outside help skills, knowledge and ability. So, this is in the Indian context, if you look at it, the SMEs have to do this. Indian companies should strive to drop technology roadmaps which help them to predict the future rather than to react to it. So, instead of adopting a reactive strategy, you become a proactive strategy company or an organization or even an NGO. You become more proactive. So, how you should be looking at the types of scenarios with respect to technology changes. NPOs in the Indian context should look at meaningful options for strategic planning. So, what it advocates is, just because you are an NPO, it does not mean that you should not look at strategic planning. Do look at strategic planning, and it may be worth its while. So, I gave you the example of these bridge schools in Bangalore. This bridge school, when I was looking at some of the recent reports and the number of children they have been able to educate, put them through different educational processes to run up to 8th standard. Some of them have even gone up to 10th standard. They are able to make them sit for the 10th standard SLC exam also, and many of them have been successful in clearing the exam. It means a lot, so that they are also contributing to the economy in their own small measure. So, this is what we wanted to look at with respect to this particular session, that is looking at these technology, how technology can be a good enabler, how these SMEs can be crucial to the economy, and how these NPOs can also help in some sectors of the economy. We will stop here. We will look at a few more issues in the next session. Thank you.